And welcome back to another episode of Farewell Evangelion. This is a podcast as we go through the full Neon Genesis Evangelion series, bit by bit, week by week. My name is Keith Ramsey. I'm going through for my last time, and I am joined by Peter Akerley.
Hello!
Who is going through for his first. Episode we watched today was Rei III, episode 23, first aired March 6, 1996. Asuka is ordered to assist Rei in battle against Armicell, a shape-shifting angel. Rei makes a desperate attempt to save Shinji. So, your prediction last episode was a bit different to what we normally do.
Yeah, so we'll just go out and say that try harder, Peter. Actually give predictions in the future.
I mean, funny enough, your prediction was accurate, but not at the same time.
I mean, I felt sad. There was that.
And I think we knew what your prediction was going to be from it being Rei III is the name of the episode, and that happened.
Yep. Rei died. Different Rei came back. Yep. So, let's just fucking get into it, man. Right off the bat, we get, Asuka, I don't know why I put Asuka in air quotes. It is Asuka.
Allegedly Asuka.
Rei's the one we need to be putting in air quotes, if anything. Asuka has been, avoiding going back home ever since the situation with the God Beam, or the Hallelujah Beam, as you call it. And so she's just been hanging out at Hikari's house, playing video games, and sleeping, and doing nothing else.
Man, what a life.
I don't know that I want to say I wish I was living in a high school girl's home playing video games all the time, but sure, if that's what you want to stand with. Yeah, no, it was, I was about to say it was good to see her coping, but it wasn't good and she wasn't coping, so no, neither of those things.
Nothing's going good for Asuka because we find out later when she gets launched in Unit 2, which I might add, Gendo says, if she can't do anything, she can at least be a decoy. She can't even move the Eva anymore.
She can't even be a proper decoy, she's essentially a scarecrow, because her sync rate has dropped to single digits, which means she straight up cannot operate an Eva anymore.
Yeah.
So, yep, that all happened. What else is going on? Shinji ends up going in his place. Hikari lifts the lockdown on Unit 1 and says, well, Unit 1 has to save her, so let's send Unit 1 up there. Which just upsets Asuka even more, because why didn't Shinji save me from the Hallelujah Beam? Why did it have to be Rei? It's just like, because Rei was capable of saving you. You were incapable of saving Rei. Like, I'm sorry, but there's a reason Shinji has to save Rei and didn't have to save you.
Yeah.
He's very dreamy, so we want to make sure he gets his beauty rest.
Yeah. And I even pointed this out during the episode, too. It's pretty funny that the whole series is Shinji just like, I don't want to pilot the Eva. And the one fucking moment he's like, I'm piloting the Eva, I'm down, I'm gonna punch some angels. He's like, nah, you're grounded.
Nah, you can't go up there. I don't trust you right now.
Well, it's more like Seeley doesn't want him moving around, because, as they mentioned before, they created a god.
Yeah. The moment he awoken, or whatever the phrase was, Seeley was like, nah, I don't want you up there and piloting the Eva anymore. Which is fair. That was kind of fucking horrifying. What happened when he reached a 400% sync rate or whatever?
Yep.
Still don't fully understand, but whatever. We'll move on. Alright, so what else happened? So, the angel, Armicell, starts merging with Rei, and then Shinji shows up, and the angel starts preparing to merge with Shinji, and Rei's like, is this what I've always wanted? Becoming one with Shinji? Nope, rather kill myself. And then she sucks the angel inside of herself and detonates her core to keep herself from merging with Shinji.
To be fair, I don't think it's like, is this what I want? No, probably not. I just want to blow myself up. I think it was more of, is this what I want? Oh dear God, by Gendo's orders I have to destroy myself now.
Yeah. The moment I consider wanting to be with Shinji, I must end my own life. Those are Gendo's orders.
And by God, he will make sure everyone follows the same rules as him.
Yeah. He holds everyone to his own standard, and his own standard is, if he ever actually wants to spend time with Shinji, he's gonna end his own life. Oh, God. So yeah, Rei is dead, gone from this world. Maybe a different Rei will show up in the future.
Who knows?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it'd be
definitely not Rei III.
It'd be weird if Rei got written out of the story from, oh, that's why it's called Rei III, because this is the third Rei. Oh! God, I finally get it. Oh, God. So yeah, Shinji's dead. Nope, not Shinji. Rei's dead. Shinji's sad.
Hopeful thinking.
I really enjoy how Shinji's lying on his bed, commenting to Misato about how he can't even bring himself to cry, even though he's so sad. And Misato's like, there's one thing I can do for you, and starts reaching for him. And Shinji is immediately like, no, fuck you, not happening. Because I assume Shinji thought, much like I did, Misato's a weird lady, you really don't want to let her make physical contact because you don't know where she's going with it.
And I'm going to go early on this because this is something I was going to bring up during the Fun Facts thing. There's a lot of debate on if she was trying to offer her body to console Shinji. But that also comes strictly from the fact that in the translation, so from Japanese to English, she says, this is all I can do for you. But in the original Japanese version, she says, just remember I'm always here for you.
Yeah.
So whether that translation was intentional to imply that or anything else, the implication isn't really there in the Japanese that she's trying to do something with them. But in the English version, it does come off that way.
Given the way Misato's been characterized so far, I would not be surprised if that was the intention, was it, for it to come across that way. But yeah, it's not clear that that's what's going on.
Well,
She's just a weird character.
Oh yeah, and like if you want to get into the whole traumas of Misato, it's very well accepted within the fan base that Misato, due to her trauma, seems to be she only understands the relationship between male and female in that physical aspect.
Yeah. God damn it. Fuck, everyone in this show is fucked up and has trauma in their backstory that guides their character forwards, except it's not actually forwards, it's more like sideways / a little backwards sometimes. No one's making progress. We also find out that Ritsuko has the exact same problem as her mother had, which is she's very clearly in love with Gendo Ikari and has realized that Rei will always come before her, so that's not going to work out for her.
Yeah, we even got the context from an earlier statement when she was like complaining about Misato running off to Kaji, and he's like, oh, I can't complain, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah. Which is interesting, because we see how the younger generation has improved on the older, where when Ritsuko's mom realized that she was never going to win out against Rei, she attempted to kill the child Rei, and then jumped off and killed herself. When Ritsuko realized she could never compete against child Rei, she killed off hundreds of Rei clones,
Yeah.
and then didn't end her own life, but asked Misato to end it for her.
Exactly. She's like, I can do better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill the Reis and live.
Yeah. She's clearly improved over her mother's form. So now we know that this third Rei is the last Rei. No more Reis to save or replace the current Rei.
Effectively. Because what we find out is that Rei does have a soul. Rei does exist. But it's transferred between the bodies when the body goes.
Yeah. Also, other thing we discovered about Rei is not technically a human, although kind of a human based on the way the phrase it. But anyway, she's an Evangelion. And what they said was Evangelions are humans made in the image of Adam, the first god that they had.
Yeah. Effectively, we also, because we find out Evas aren't just angels, they're more human than angel.
Yeah.
And she's a human-sized angel, Eva, and on top of that, which because we kind of brushed over briefly there, the dummy plug system. Inside those dummy plugs are Rei
clones that have just been imprinted with the knowledge of the different people.
Exactly. So something does have to always be in that dummy plug system is not just empty. It's got physically a Rei inside of it.
But similarly, because it has a physical Rei clone inside of it, doesn't still need a human soul, because we are told none of those Rei clones has a soul, so...
It's there to trick the Eva into thinking there's a pilot.
And to think there's a pilot and follow the pilot's orders, when actually the pilot is essentially a meat puppet that does whatever they're told.
Effectively, it's like in those movies where they have to get through a fingerprint scanner and they take a piece of tape, put stuff on it. Yeah. That's effectively what the Rei dummies are to the Evas.
Yeah, that's actually a good way of putting it. What else did we discover in this episode? Asuka's probably going to end up taking her own life in a couple episodes. She's in a real dark place right now. I feel bad for her.
Oh yeah, well her whole thing is about she wants to be useful, and she's effectively at the point where she's not useful as a pilot at all.
Yeah, she has come to the conclusion she serves no purpose to these people anymore.
Yeah.
Can't even move one foot in front of the other to act as a proper decoy for Rei.
Yeah. Well, in her introduction to her then, when she's in the Eva, she's like, here I am, doing this again. Oh well, doesn't even matter.
So, no, I was about to start asking questions, but we're not in the question part yet. What else happened in this episode that I'm forgetting?
So Ritsuko was brought before Sile after they mentioned they need a sacrifice of sorts, because at this point, they have no faith whatsoever left in Gendo.
Yeah.
They are like, okay, he lost Unit 0, he lost the spear, he has Unit 1 doing god shit, or apparently whatever risk that is, and they need to remove Gendo, and they even implied destroying Tokyo 3 to complete their plans.
Yeah. Part of their plans involves destroying all of Tokyo 3.
For humanity.
Yeah, and they're going to have 12 Evangelions in the near future. They currently have 8. Once the final 4 are completed, then they're going to fuck up Tokyo 3 and trust that those 12 Evangelions can handle whatever's up. We also heard...
To clarify, it's not that they currently have 8. They will have 8. They're 4 away from it.
Oh, okay.
So with those 4, it will bring the total Evangelions in production to 12.
Oh, okay. Misunderstood that. Additionally, we learned that the Dead Sea Scrolls specifically mentions 17 angels. We've now seen the 16th, so there's 1 angel left.
And 3 episodes.
3 episodes, 1 angel. Also, based on my understanding, multiple movies with 1 angel, so we'll see how that works out. Maybe there will be more angels that weren't mentioned on the Dead Sea Scrolls. God only knows.
Literally.
Oh, God.
And then we also have the scene where Ritsuko brings Shinji to reveal everything to him. But also, Misato shows up and kind of does the same thing to Ritsuko that she did to Kaji.
Yeah, I hacked into the system. You can't get in without me. You're taking me with me and with you and revealing all your secrets. And Ritsuko's like, I was already planning on coming here to reveal a bunch of secrets to flicks the light. Shinji?
Was she waiting there, knowing Misato was going to show up? It's like, okay, Shinji, I need you to stand right there. I'm going to leave and come back. Yeah. And then Misato's going to show up. I need you to be quiet the whole time until I flick on the light. Trust me, it's going to be good.
That or on the phone call she had with Shinji, she's like, alright, Shinji, I'm going to give you very detailed instructions. You're going to follow them exactly to the spot. Do not turn on the lights in the room when you get there. You are to stand in the shadows and wait for me to arrive.
You're going to see Misato pull a gun on me. Don't say anything. Don't make a sound. Do not intervene. I have a bit I'm working on, and this needs to happen precise.
This is going to be a very cool reveal, Shinji. I promise.
I need to be very dramatic here. Yeah, I might not be in my right mind.
Also, you're probably going to see a couple Reis die. Just emotionally prepare yourself for
Wait,
that.
what was that last part? Don't worry about it. You'll find out when you get there.
Oh, God.
Man, I like Ritsuko having, like, an elaborate dramatic breakdown.
Yeah.
She can't do anything normally. She's like, this needs to be planned.
I really enjoyed the mental conversation she must have been having, because we saw it during her meeting with Seele. Seele's like, hey, by the way, Gendo's the reason you're here. We asked to talk to Rei, and he wouldn't give her to us, so now we have to talk to you instead. Or Gendo offered you up in her place, which I'm not convinced that's what's happening. It kind of sounded like they were just kidnapping people and weren't able to kidnap Rei, so they took her instead. So they say all that, and I feel like the moment they say that line, Ritsuko's wheels, cogs start turning in her head. She's like, alright, gotta find Shinji, gotta hide him in darkness, gotta reveal everything to him, but have to have a really cool reveal where Misato realizes that I'm telling Shinji everything.
What if the concept though is that she was tricked by Seele because I mentioned they need to control her to do something, so what if and whatever you do, don't screw over Gendo by revealing everything to his son that he hates.
Yeah. Definitely don't let Shinji figure out what's actually going on. We want answers. Fuck Gendo, but also definitely don't support the son that Gendo hates.
Seele 03's like, wink.
Oh, God. Yeah, I believe it. I believe that would happen. That seems like shit Seele would pull based on my understanding.
Seele's at Illuminati levels of absurd villains of this world. Yeah. So them coming up with elaborate, stupid plans like this, could totally believe it.
Yeah. So yeah, then we find out. We see the whole cloning process where Rei was born, and also the one big pool of Rei clones.
All floating in LCL.
All floating in LCL, smiling eerily at Shinji.
Yep.
Nope, don't like it. Don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. And then, as we said, Ritsuko kills all the clones, and Misato's just getting increasingly pissed off because she's like, I told you to give me answers. Why are you giving Shinji all the answers?
Why is Shinji more important than I am?
I'm Misato. Tell me fucking answers. We all agreed when we signed a contract here. Fuck Shinji. He doesn't deserve answers.
Yeah, but Ritsuko's clearly upset with Gendo, so she's saying fuck the contract.
Yeah, that's clearly what's going on. The whole reason she's giving Shinji answers is because she's mad at Gendo, and Gendo made it clear Shinji wasn't allowed to have answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, really the one other thing we kind of got, I guess, two things. So for Misato's thing, Misato kind of realizes that she's just sitting around being lonely because Kaji's dead, and she decides to kick things into her own gear now.
Yep.
After she's rejected by Shinji and Pen.
Pen was definitely the worst one of those.
Yeah. And then the last one is we get the Evangelion graveyard, which is the dumping ground of all the remains of the Evas that are failed. And that's specifically the spot where Yui went missing. And
Right.
Shinji saw it happen.
Right, so hopefully we get a little bit more of an explanation of what's going on there. Yep. Solid episode.
You started getting all your reveals. Again, we have 3 episodes left after this one. And one angel.
Yeah, getting a whole bunch of answers, so I'm excited about that. Well, shall we get into some questions?
Yep.
So I have a feeling I might be able to get answers to my questions today. I think I've phrased my questions.
There is a few. You have some answers that I will be giving up.
Yeah. So first question, this isn't so much like a big, deeper plot question. This is more so, we haven't seen Toji in a while. What's going on with Toji? Was he just like breaking out after his Eva got destroyed?
Well, you probably noticed, but as the story goes on, it's less and less about the school life aspect. Yeah. So those characters kind of take it hard sidelined. Toji doesn't have an Eva to pilot, and he's missing a leg. So, and he was also, possessed by an angel. So he is kind of in still recovery phase at this point. He's not in the hospital yet. I can confirm he's still in the hospital recovering. And these last few episodes, like once the Toji incident happens, it's kind of non-stop timeline-wise. Like in the previous episodes, they're kind of like weeks, months apart.
Yeah.
So there's a timeline there where characters can recover between fights and stuff. But we're at the point now where if you get fucked up in a fight, there's probably not enough recovery time, and Toji was at the start of that.
Fair. It was mostly just, you know what, I'll save it. That's going to inform my prediction for next episode, because I had a prediction, the works of it, that's helped me figure out some of the finer details. Second question. We're told that this is the 3rd Rei clone. Do we know when the first one died and the second one came into existence? Like, has it always been the second for us? Or...
You saw the first one die.
Oh, was Ritsuko's mom killed it? Did she actually kill
She actually killed the child Rei, and that's why she killed herself. Because she thought, I killed a child. She didn't know about the Rei clones. She's like, holy shit, I killed a kid.
That makes sense.
Killed herself, and then Gen is like, soul in the body.
Soul into another clone!
Yeah.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense.
So Rei 2 has been the Rei since that incident, and that's why she had such a connection to everything, and she was a bit more there than the other clones. Because it's not really addressed, but when the soul is transferred between bodies, it's not clean.
Fair.
Not everything gets transferred over. Some things get lost. Memories. For example, she didn't remember what happened causing Rei 2's death, right?
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, that is actually very helpful. That's kind of what I was assuming. I just wanted it to be spelled out clearly for me.
Yeah.
So we found out that, this isn't so much a question, just more of a comment that I realized. At this point, it seems like each and every one of the children has had, I guess, kind of Rei. I don't know if we're going to count Rei since it was a clone that immediately died and then was replaced by another clone. But each one of the children, including Kaji, has now had direct contact with an angel and has had that kind of conversation. We didn't see it happen with Toji, but I assume while he was being controlled by an angel, he probably had the conversation.
And to be fair, this also happened before all those things started happening, so I think it's safe to assume that he probably had a similar experience.
Yeah, and they probably just didn't want to reveal it happening so that they could save the reveal for the later ones.
Yeah, Shinji is the first one we've seen have that very close interaction with whatever's going on.
Yeah. So at this point, all of the children have had their conversations, so that's good. I'm sure the next child we get will... So, you have ever so slightly spoiled the detail that there are 2 more children that are awaiting in the 3 remaining episodes, so that's not a lot of time for children there, Keith. So I can only imagine what fucked up shit we're gonna get with them. One's probably gonna get introduced and die in the same fucking episode or some shit. Anyways, that's it for my questions. It was mostly just the 2 that I knew I could get answers to and then a comment on what I noticed.
Do you have any more speculations? I know you have a few running theories that you're very strict to, like the Lilith theory and all that.
Yeah, so the Lilith theory is still there. I still think there's more to Rei. They say she has a soul, and she's clearly Yui's, spitting image. That's the phrase I'm looking for. So, I still think there's something going on with that, given that the room where Yui disappeared was shown immediately after the room where Rei was born. I still think there's a connection going on between Yui and Rei, and yeah, I still think Lilith's involved somehow, and I'm going off on a and saying Lilith's soul is what's inside of Rei right now. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Otherwise, no big theories right now. I have predictions for next episode. I'm not going to pull the same shit of, my prediction is that I'm right and I'm sad about it. Although that is probably accurate. But I do have predictions for next episode.
That's fair. And just finishing up on the Rei thing there. Yeah, they described the process in which that they were cloning from Adam, and Rei is the only time a soul physically was with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely not a good thing. Okay. Any fun details for this episode?
So you actually, your questions kind of took over some of those. I was going to point out the death of Rei 1 we've seen, which was the strangling and all that. But there's a few fan side of things that have never really been confirmed by part of theories. So, for example, in this episode, one of the big fan theories about who one of Kaji's killers are came up in this one. Which is when Ritsuko is talking on the phone with her quote-unquote grandmother, she talks about the dead cat and all that stuff, and then she's like having a conversation with her grandmother, and then once it's done, she's like, so that cat is dead. Like in a more matter-of-fact way, and that with the context that she was warning Kaji, if you dig too deep, you're gonna get burnt, essentially.
Yeah.
Has led people to pretty much suspect that the person she's talking to is the only other person we've seen with a lot of cats in the series, which is his contact from an earlier episode, who we know Kaji was killed by someone he works with, he knows, but we also know it's not a main cast character, which has led people to believe it's the cat lady, and this is the confirmation of it.
Yeah, the cat lady he interacted with while he was investigating the Marmaduke Institute.
Especially where the last time he interacted with her as well, Ritsuko almost immediately found out.
Yeah. Marmaduke Institute, not the Marmaduke Institute.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
I keep making that mistake.
I kind of wish it was the Marmaduke Institute.
That would be very fun for me.
This is more of a little fun fact, but you know the concept of angels, like what they look like?
Yep.
And it's not really what we suspect. This might be a bit spoiler for you, but I think it's a little fun addition. So the previous angel we had was giant shining wings, and this one, when we first met it, was a halo.
Right. Yeah, that's quite the connection. So it's getting closer to our understanding of what angels are supposed to look like.
It's a way you can look at it, I suppose. Yeah. Again, I already mentioned that the translation made Misato's interaction with Shinji a little bit more sexual than it probably was intended to be, but who knows? And this is more of like the mythology. And I just want to point out one thing about Neon Genesis. There's a lot of religious tones to it, but Hideaki Anno has said as much that the premise of Neon Genesis is not to have any religious meaning to it. It's in Japan, Christian mythology is a really cool sounding thing. And if you go into like Bible stuff as like a non-Christian person, there's some pretty crazy stuff in there that's like, oh man, that's a pretty interesting story.
Yeah.
Just in the same way that we will use, Greek mythology in something. In Japan, they like using Christian mythology for a lot of stuff.
Fair.
So, Anno has completely specified that there's no undertones of Christianity being right or wrong or anything like that. It's cool mythology and it looks cool.
Yeah,
literally the main reason, it looks cool.
Of course, yeah.
So going in from that, the Chamber of Goth is mentioned in this one, where Ritsuko says that after Rei, the Chamber of Goth was empty. And in religious, or specifically Hebrew religion, when the Chamber of Goth, which is where souls come from for new babies, once that's empty, it's apparently the sign of the end of days.
Yeah, of course. Building towards the end times.
And we already know a big thing's supposed to happen because of the Dead Sea Scrolls within this time frame.
Yep.
So we're clearly building to something big.
Of course.
Especially with one angel left.
Yep. Yep.
So that is pretty much the fun facts. I said I was also going to talk about the Rei 1 situation and all that, but we kind of went through it.
Of course. Before I get into my predictions, I have to give a little bit of a preamble. Also, I know we're not quite at that point yet.
Yeah.
But I have to get a bit of preamble. So my original prediction was going to involve Toji, but now that I know he's still kind of out of commission and it hasn't been that long, it has been updated. And I think this update actually fits a little bit better. Also, what you pointed out about angels might play into it as well. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, I guess now, if we're getting to that point, we do have to touch on one more thing before we get there. What are your thoughts on this episode?
I really enjoyed this episode. I have a feeling that's going to be a trend for these next 3 episodes as well. We're getting towards the end game, so we're getting a lot of action, but we're also getting a lot of plot development and answers to questions that have been set up for 20 episodes now. So
Yeah, we're in the point where there's going to be a lot of answers coming through now.
Yeah. Shit is starting to resolve, and that's really fun for me. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this episode. I'm looking forward to the next 3 as well.
And, then we got, obviously, the sets of movies that happen after the 26th. So, keep in mind that the 26-episode run is not going to answer everything.
I am no longer looking forward to the next 3 episodes now that you point that out.
Oh, no, there's going to be answers. I'm not saying that there's no answers. I'm saying there's things that will not be resolved until we get a bit further.
Fair.
But yeah, this is a really big episode because the big Rei reveal is kind of like one of the big oh shit moments in the series. That once you realize, like, oh, we've been dealing with Rei II, the second Rei clone. There was an original one, so, Dr. Akagi killed the original one back in, 2004 or 5-ish, roughly.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we also know that Rei did die by self-destructing herself. And it wasn't, that big build-up. It was kind of hinting at, she's like, oh, I'm the third one, blah, 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 stuff. But, finding out, the dummy plugs all have Reis in them. Rei is an Ava clone, in a sense.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Whew! Okay, well, going back to questions a little bit, just one last question. Since we now know that Avas can very clearly look exactly like a human, can angels also look exactly like a human?
We'll find out. Actually, there is something I kind of want to touch on here that you probably missed, because it happens fast. A lot of people do miss it. Did you notice anything interesting about when Rei's Ava exploded?
I very briefly took on the form of Rei as a giant before exploding.
Yeah. Well, you might want to think about that for a bit.
I don't want to think about that. I can't lead to good places, Keith.
So with that revelation, I think it's about time to wrap this up. So if you would like to reach out to us, you can follow us at whatismypodcastabout@gmail.com. You can send us questions, comments, or anything about the series you'd like to mention. On top of that, you can follow us on YouTube and all podcasting platforms. You can reach the podcast there every Wednesday. And, of course, we have the Instagram page where we update facts about the series as we go along, so it's in chronological order, so you can follow along as you go through the series, and there's no real spoilers there. On top of that, we also have weekend polls. Currently, as of listening to this, we've already started our top angel poll, which means that every weekend, minus a few weeks coming up because of just where we're at in the series, we're going to be going through all the angels to determine which one's the top one. Whether you think it's the one that will win a fight or your favorite one, doesn't matter. Just vote for the one you want, and we'll get to the top one at some point.
Of course. However you use your methods to decide.
And if you can, always review, leave a comment, or give us 5 stars or whatever. Word of mouth definitely helps with getting this out to other people. And as always, for our final bit, Peter, what can we expect next time on Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Alright, Unit 2 needs a new pilot. Asuka's out of commission. So CLA is going to try and submit the 5th child to the team to get them to pilot. That's their way of getting someone on the inside to understand things. At the same time, the 17th angel, is going to attack. We're not going to kill the 17th angel this episode. It's going to be a prolonged battle. But the 17th angel, who my prediction is now they look like a fucking human. I'm throwing that on the scale as well. Is going to fight. And over the course of this episode, the 5th child is also going to die in the episode they get revealed. Because we need to get through to the 6th child much more quickly.
Sounds like a good time. So make sure to tune in next time where there'll be plenty of fan service.